It's just...
Good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock, May 9th, 2022. I'd like to call the Sutton Town meeting to order. If I could have everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we get started with the proceedings, I'd like to wish all of the mothers out there happy Mother's Day. Hopefully you had a day of relaxation yesterday. It is wonderful to be inside again. As everybody knows, COVID-19 has affected all of us. And last year we had the meeting outdoors. My bald spot still hasn't recovered from the sunburn, so it's good to be inside here. I'd also like to thank again the countless committees that continue doing what needs to be done to move this town forward. Even with COVID taking over all of our lives, these committees continue with regular scheduled meetings by utilizing Zoom or a hybrid method. The town's YouTube channel is a great resource for getting information and clarification, even for this town moderator. I encourage everyone to use this resource if you cannot attend a meeting by going to suttonma.org. So all of the meetings, again, are being recorded, and it is a great resource for those people who need more information. I understand we have quite a few new people attending their first meeting, which I think is absolutely wonderful. Hopefully you are here to assess and make an informed decision for when it is time to vote. Sutton, along with many towns in the Commonwealth, use the town meeting method so that everyone can respectfully voice their opinions and do what some people take for granted: vote. I further encourage people to get involved and either join or follow committees to help shape this town's future. And while I know the Sutton site is never wrong, they are sometimes wrong. So be informed. It has been a long-standing tradition in the town of Sutton to recognize those individuals who have recently passed and have previously served the town of Sutton. This year, the town would like to recognize Arthur Keown Jr. We dedicate the annual report to Arthur Keown Jr., who left us during the fiscal year of 2021. His commitment to and involvement in the community will always be remembered fondly. We honor him this day and understand that all of Sutton will be forever grateful for his dedicated service. Arthur served on the Zoning Board of Appeals from 1980 and 2013, and anybody that knew him knew he was quite a character. So the other person I'd like to, well, actually, what I'd like to do at this point is if we could have just a brief moment of silence. Thank you. The other person I'd like to recognize tonight, and it's a little bit unscripted because I forgot, but I think this marks the last meeting of Mr. Ted Friend, who is a school superintendent. After 12 years of dedicated service to town, Ted is taking what are you doing, a vacation, or are you actually retiring? We're not quite sure. But there you go. So if you guys, I know I look on the Sutton site and they're always looking for a handyman all the time. Ted is your guy. He's very good too with Mr. Friend's neighborhood. But in all seriousness, Ted, and we've worked on committees together, with the school and others, and I think the town really is going to miss your leadership. I know the kids are, the parents are. So good luck in retirement, and thank you for all your service. Let me go through the general rules and guidelines for the town meeting. To my right here, hopefully, is all of the non-residents or non-voting members of the audience. Given permission, some of these individuals will be granted to speak on an article given their role within the town or their association with an article. A reminder that unless you are a registered voter, you cannot vocalize a response of A or nay when it comes to voting on an article. I ask that anyone that is addressing an article for discussion to please go to the microphone that's situated just over the first. There you go. We got Vanna White. Good job, Vanna. There, perfect. Go up there. Please state your name and address for the record. And also, although it's being taped, we are on TV tonight. It will be played at a later date. I get reprimanded every year in saying it's live. It's not live. It'll come on at another date. Speak directly into the microphone so everyone can hear you clearly. As mentioned, this meeting is being taped. We want to make sure everybody at home can understand the discussion and the questions itself. So I know it's easy to just go, hey, and stand up, and we can all hear you, but it's really for other people at home to be able to hear you as well. As I do with every year at the Springtown meeting, I need to appoint a deputy moderator in the event I am unable to fulfill my duties as town moderator. I was gonna ask Ted to do it, but apparently he's not available anymore. So I'm gonna nominate Mr. John Greenlaw. All those in favor of Mr. Greenlaw as a deputy moderator signal by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? He's not here, so he gets it by default. Oh. Perfect. So tell John if you see him. For the record, the town of Sutton has adopted Chapter 39, Section 15 of the general laws requiring a 2/3 vote by statute. The vote need not be counted unless the reported results of the vote are immediately questioned by 7 or more voters in attendance at this meeting. With your permission, I will limit debate on any article by an individual to 3 minutes during the discussion phase and 5 minutes for presentations. Any individual wanting to add to their initial remarks will be asked to do so only after others have contributed their remarks. If you agree to this, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Laura, I'm not sure did we get any tellers appointed or no? Any tellers? Okay, I don't think we'll need them tonight. I will dispense with the reading of the warrant. The town clerk will note the return of the warrant was properly posted and properly returned. Laura? Thank you. There are 19 articles on the warrant today. The articles will be taken in the order they were placed on the warrant. I remind everyone that motions made at the meeting may refer to the article as presented in the warrant. It is important that people read through the warrant article in case you need any clarification. This meeting is for voting residents of Sutton. By being here today, you have the important role of making decisions that will affect the future of this town. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to attend today's meeting. Thank you. We will now proceed with Article 1, sponsored by the Board of Selectmen.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town receive the reports of the town officers and committees.
Second.
Okay. Having a motion and a second. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article, as this is a standard article for town reports.
Thank you. It's now open for discussion. Seeing none, all of those in favor of Article 1 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Article 1 passes by unanimous vote. Article 2.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to authorize the cemetery commissioners to employ themselves in the work of the several cemeteries and to fix the compensation to be paid from appropriations for said department.
FinCom, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article, as this is a standard article to allow the cemetery commissioners to employ themselves in the work of their department.
Now open for discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 2 signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Okay. Article 2 also passes by unanimous vote. Article 3.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to authorize the Board of Health to employ themselves in the performance of their work necessary to maintain health standards set by their department and to fix the compensation to be paid from appropriations for said department.
Thank you. Having a motion and a second. FinCom?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article, as this is a standard article to allow the Board of Health to employ themselves in the performance of their work necessary to maintain health standards set by their department and to fix the compensation to be paid from appropriation from said department.
Okay, open for discussion? With none, all those in favor of Article 3 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article 3 passes by unanimous vote. Article 4.
Mr. Moderator, if I may, I move that the town vote to appropriate the following sums for the operation of the sewer department for fiscal year 2023. Salary and wages, $252,230. Operation and maintenance, $577,454, for a total of $829,684. And is funding therefore that the town vote to raise the $829,684 as follows from user fees, $829,684.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article. This is the annual authorization for the sewer department budget.
Okay, now open for discussion. Okay, all those in favor of Article 4 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Article 4 passes by unanimous. You guys are getting the hang of this. Good job. Article 5.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate the following sums for the operation of the transfer station for fiscal year 2023. Salary and wages, $63,138. Operation and maintenance, $99,575, for a total of $162,713. And is funding therefore that the town raise the $162,713 as follows. User fees, $162,713.
Second.
Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article, as this is the annual authorization for the transfer station budget.
Thank you. Open for discussion. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of Article 5 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article 5 passes by unanimous vote. Article 6.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to fund the operating budget for fiscal year 2023, period, in the following manner. General government, $1,861,515. Public safety, $3,149,863. Education, $19,592,885. Public works, $1,093,554. Health and Human Services, $373,342. Recreation and Culture, $283,313. Debt and interest, $3,371,551. Insurance and employment benefits, $5,569,181. Transfer to Capital Stabilization Fund, $687,941,000, for a total of $35,983,225. And that the article be funded in the following manner. Raise and appropriate the amount of $35,617,220. A transfer from Capital Stabilization Fund, $251,076. A transfer from other reserves, $3,190. A transfer from the Sewer Enterprise Fund for indirect cost, $89,164. A transfer from the Transfer Station Enterprise Fund for indirect costs, $22,575, for a total of $35,983,225. And a two-thirds vote is required.
Thank you. There was a second. Thank you. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article, as this is the annual authorization for fiscal 2023 budget.
Okay, now open for discussion. Okay, as Mr. Liminik said, it is a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of Article 6 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article 6 passes by unanimous vote. Article 7.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to appropriate the sum of $1,239,700 for the following purposes and in the respective amounts below relating to the fiscal 2023 capital plan. School Department, for the purpose of elementary school and ELC parking lot, $300,000 from free cash. School Department, the purpose of purchasing an athletic bus, $95,000, raise and appropriate. School Department, graphic arts computers, $30,000, source, raise and appropriate. School Department, technology, $10,000, raise and appropriate. Council on Aging, emergency shelter generator, $15,000, free cash. Fire Department, Station 2 parking lot, $50,000 from free cash. Police Department, fiber for Wilkinsonville section of town, $150,000 from free cash. Police Department, vehicle replacement, $110,000, raise and appropriate. Police Department, portable radios, $26,000 from free cash. Highway Department, a wheel loader, $245,000, raise and appropriate. Highway Department, replace H2, $68,000 from free cash. Planning Department, Tricentennial, Planning Board, Tricentennial Park paving, $30,000, free cash. Planning Department, traffic study, Burbank and Sibley Roads, $30,000 from free cash. Planning Department, MVP grant match, $25,000 from free cash. Transfer Station, replace motors, $10,000, transfer station retained earnings. Sewer Department, replace various sewer equipment, $15,700 from sewer retained earnings. Sewer Department, DEP required study of treatment plant, $30,000 from sewer retained earnings, for a total of $1,239,700. And to meet this appropriation, raise and appropriate $490,000, transfer the sum of $694,000 from free cash, transfer the sum of $10,000 from transfer station retained earnings, transfer the sum of $45,700 from sewer retained earnings, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen to take any other action to carry out these projects, and that any unspent items from this capital plan be returned to its original funding source for future appropriation.
Okay, hearing a motion in a second. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article. This is the fiscal 2023 capital plan and is an integral part of the town's budget.
Thank you. Open for discussion? Okay, seeing none. All of those in favor of Article 7, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Article 7 passes by unanimous vote. Article 8.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $165,250 from free cash to the following line items in the fiscal year 2022 budget. Snow and ice account, $155,000. Insurance opt-out account, $10,250.
Second.
Thank you. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article. This allows for the transfer of available funds to cover deficits that arose during the fiscal year, such as snow and ice.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, with none, all those in favor of Article 8 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Article 8 passes by unanimous vote. Article 9.
Mr. Moderator, if I may, I move that the town vote to authorize the treasurer, with the approval of the select board, to borrow in anticipation of reimbursement by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the town's share of the state aid to highways under Chapter 90 in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 6A.
I'll second that.
Thank you. FinCom, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article. Chapter 90 provides state aid for roads and highway projects. This article allows the town to proceed with these expenditures while awaiting state reimbursement.
Thank you. Now open for discussion. Having none, all those in favor of Article 9 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Article 9 passes by unanimous vote. Article 10.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer the following amounts from line items in the fiscal year 2022 budget and approve payment of the prior year invoices as follows. Pine Ridge Technologies, Inc., $2,285, transferred from the streetlights account 01424-52100. Lawrence Deutsch, $3,887.67 from the fire training wages account 01220-51441, and Convergent, $1,398 from the police repairs and maintenance account number 01210-52400.
Thank you. FinCom?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article, as this allows payment of prior year invoices.
Open for discussion. All right, this requires the infamous 4/5 vote, so just make my life easier and make it unanimous. All those in favor of Article 10, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, because I can't do math. Thank you. Article 11.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer $700,000 from free cash for the purpose of funding the school department costs for special education out-of-district placements.
Thank you. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article.
Okay. Any discussion on this article? Having none, all those in favor of Article 11, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article 11 passes unanimously. Article 12.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer $25,000 from free cash to the Special Education Tuition Stabilization Fund, which was established under Article 11 of the May 9th, 2016 annual town meeting.
Thank you. FinCom, your recommendation?
Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article.
Open for discussion. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of Article 12 signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Article 12 passes unanimously. Article 13.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer $395,000 from free cash to the other post-employment benefits trust fund.
Second.
Thank you. FinCom, your recommendation?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 7-0 with one member abstaining because they serve on the OPED Advisory Committee. The 7-0 was to recommend passage of this article.
Thank you. Open for any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article 13 passes unanimously. Article 14.
Mr. Moderator, if I may, I move that the town vote to transfer $100,000 from fiscal year 2022 health insurance budget line item and appropriate said sum to the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund, which was established under Article 12 of the May 15th, 2021 annual town meeting.
Second.
Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee.
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory recommend passage of this article.
Open for discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article 14 passes by unanimous vote. Article 15.
Michael Gagan, 8 Fox Run Road, a member of the Planning Board. Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to approve Article 15 as printed in the warrant. The Planning Board discussed the discontinuance of this road in an open meeting and agreed to sponsor this article. No board recommendation is required for this article. Sponsorship represents majority support.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. FinCom, your response?
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article.
Open for discussion? Okey dokey. All those in favor of Article 15, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, so it passes by majority vote. Article 16.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $150,000 for the purpose of improving, renovating, preserving, rehabilitating, and/or restoring the town-owned parcel of land located at 23 Huff Road, a.k.a. Assessor's Map 51, Parcel 46, known as Van Dyke Fields, as described in the instrument recorded at the Worcester South District Registry of Deeds in Book 4570, page 356, and any recreational facilities thereon, and to transfer the care, custody, and control of said property from the Select Board for purposes for which it is held to the Select Board acting in its capacity as the Board of Park Commissioners for public park, active recreation, and playground purposes in accordance with the provisions of General Law, Chapter 45, subsection 3, as amended, and further to dedicate said property to public park, active recreation, and playground purposes in perpetuity, and to authorize the Board of Park Commissioners and its designees to file on behalf of the town any and all applications for grants and/or reimbursements from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts under the Park Grant Program, 301 CMR 5.00, and/or others in any way connected with the scope of this article, and accept funds therefrom and any other gifts and/or grants therefore, and to enter into any and all agreements and execute any and all instruments as may be necessary or convenient to undertake the purposes of this article.
FinCom, your recommendation?
FinCom Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article.
Okay. Open for discussion?
Mr. Moderator, Robert Nonamarka, 24 Singletary Ave. From the wording of this article, I presume it encumbers the entire parcel of land there that goes around the fields there, the recreational fields, but also around the sewer plant that is there and the senior center. Is this going to be a problem in the future that it's dedicated to one purpose and it will not be able to be used by anybody else for any other purpose?
Anybody want to answer that question? Jen? Jen, the fallback?
Got just the yes or no. Just say yes or no. Yeah, it's a great question. I wish I'd heard the question before tonight. Yes, I mean, it is a huge parcel and it does contain all those things. So anything that's not already occupied by a building or or shown on a plan, like the sewer department not only has the fields, it has a plan that shows the other backup things that can be created. Anything that's not already shown on a plan or constructed, I would think would be potentially restricted. So I don't know if there's a way to revise it at this point. This is required for a grant match. But again, great question. Just hearing it tonight.
You want to? Mr. Nudemarker, great question. That has stumped the audience up here. So, what we'd like to ask is someone to make a motion for an indefinite postponement until this can be researched further, and then it could be put back on the warrant in the fall.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes.
may I make a motion to have an amendment?
The problem is going to be with matching grants, and that's what we were discussing over there. So the wording of it has to be almost spot on to be able to get the matching grant. So I think there needs to be a little bit more wording and research to it to make sure that the wording is perfect before we can match the grant.
I have a very strange question. I got to shrink here apparently, or okay.
Are you going to sing?
Could, just talking, thinking out loud, could we make a motion in the best form we can so we can show the intent on the grant application and then perfect it if need be at fall town meeting? I know it's a little messy, but then it won't preclude the grant application being made. So specify the area that's currently in park use, you know. Exclude those areas that Nick's referring to. Perfect. Okay, town council's thinking of the wording. Just a sec.
Catch up on social media while you can. Okay? Give us a few minutes just to sort through this. Apologize. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I
We
try?
could table this for further discussion, so we'll,
We have a potential amendment.
what do we got? Somebody has to make the motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move to amend the article to include only the parts of the park currently dedicated to park use, which may need to be surveyed and written out in detail in the future. But the intent is only to use the park that's, the portion that's currently dedicated to park use.
Can I second that?
Yep. So it is open for discussion for any type of amendment to be included. Is there any further discussion on this?
Could you repeat the amendment?
He just winged it. I
The
don't know if you
amendment
caught
is to
that.
include in the article only the portion of the parcel currently dedicated to park use.
I want to make sure we get this right, so hold on. Somebody's got cell phone service? Holy cow, what do you got? Holy. Technically, no, but would you like to
Would we make a second amendment?
make a second amendment? You can clarify that. Meanwhile, I'm because apparently you can get cell phone service.
We'll give it a go. Don't go far.
Yeah, let me, I can write, let me print it.
Senior Center. Mr. Moderator, anybody still awake?
Yes, sir, Mr. Hall.
I'd like to propose an amendment.
Did you plagiarize it, or did you do it yourself?
I'm totally plagiarizing.
Okay.
I'd like to propose an amendment. I'd like to add into the existing article as read, right after General Law Chapter 45, subsection 3, add this language: with the exception of the portion of said parcel utilized for sewer department and senior center purposes.
We have a second? Second? Okay. It is open for discussion.
Mr. Moderator, another thing occurred to me after I spoke the first time.
And Nick, the Celtics are on at 7:30.
I'm sorry to interrupt that. But this is more important. Years ago, probably 5 to 10 years ago, the planning board had a proposal for a new commercial road from Whitens Road to Douglas that goes through this property. It's easterly of where the sewer in this recreational area is. And if there was a lot of money spent on that, and the road was designed, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I don't think that we should mess that up.
There we go. Another good point. That roadway, it is an approved subdivision plan. The grandfathering has since expired on that, so it would have to be resubmitted and reapproved to be utilized. After we had the design plans done, we did a construction cost estimate. That was probably 10 to 15 years ago, and at the time, just the section of the roadway within the town of Sutton was well over $4 million because of the potential wetland impacts and the grades that are being developed, would have to be developed in there. And there was a very close pass to a historic American Indian landmark. So I don't disagree with Mr. Nunemacher, and if you want to revise it again, you can, but the reality of that section of road coming in, or actually going in now that everything's been assessed, is slim.
So we do have a motion on the floor. We have a second, right? So it is still open for discussion. What we're going to do now is, if everybody's in agreement, all we do is need a majority vote to add the wording of Mr. Hall, and then we will vote on the whole thing all over again. So all those in favor of the amendment proposed by Mr. Hall, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, so that passes by majority. What we're going to do is take the article as a whole and vote on it. So this will require 2/3 vote regardless. So all those in favor of Article 16 with the amendment in place, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So it passes by the required 2/3 vote. And thank you for that input, Mr. Nunemacher. Article 17.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $268,000 for the purpose of improving, renovating, preserving, rehabilitating, and/or restoring the town-owned parcel of land located at 7 Darling Lane, known as the American Legion Park, a.k.a. Veterans Park, as described in a deed recorded with the Worcester South District Registry of Deeds in Book 56540, page 155, and any recreational facilities thereon, which sum shall supplement the funds transferred under Article 10 of the October 18th, 2021 annual town meeting. The total appropriation constitutes the total cost of the American Legion Park project, and further, to authorize the Select Board to enter into any agreements upon such terms and conditions as the board deems appropriate in order to defray all or a portion of the costs of the project. Two-thirds vote, Mr. Moderator.
Second.
Thank you. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article.
Open for discussion. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of Article 17 signify by saying aye. Are there any opposed? Article 17 passes by unanimous vote. Article 18.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $19,233 for the purpose of contributing to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts the town's share of funds to be used by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to acquire from King Hill an agricultural preservation restriction held by the town in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts on parcels of land located on King Road and Uxbridge Road, Sutton, containing a total of 19.23 acres, more or less, and described in deeds recorded with the Worcester South District Registry of Deeds, Book 18627, page 141, and Book 66351, page 7. And further, to authorize the Select Board to enter into all agreements and execute on behalf of the town any and all instruments as may be necessary or convenient to effectuate the purpose of this article.
Thank you. Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee, your recommendation?
The Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article.
Open for discussion. With none, all those in favor of Article 18, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 18 passes unanimously. Article 19.
Michael Gagan, 8 Fox Run Road, a member of the Planning Board. Mr. Moderator, on Article 19, I move that the town vote to amend the zoning bylaw, Section 6L, accessory apartments, by amending Item A to delete the strike-through text, and amending Item H to delete the strike-through text, and adding the underscored text as follows. Section A, strike-through, quote, no more than, end quote, in the current bylaw language, so that the section will read as follows. Section A, an accessory apartment shall only have one bedroom. Also in Section H, strike through, quote, cannot be its own standalone structure, end quote. Quote, it must, end quote, and quote, no more than 50%, end quote, and add, quote, shall, end quote, and quote, a portion, end quote, so that the section will now read. Section H, an accessory apartment shall be a portion of the main dwelling or a portion of a detached accessory structure such as a garage or a barn. The Planning Board voted to recommend to town meeting to approve this article 5-0-0.
Thank you. Do we have a second on that? Thank you. FinCom, your
Mr. Moderator, the Finance and Warrant Advisory Committee voted 8-0 to recommend passage of this article.
okay. Does the Planning Board have any other comments you want to make? Or are you good?
Well, I would just, the board felt that the minimum 50% requirement should be eliminated because it forces residents to build oversized structures that are often the same size or larger than the home.
Thank you. Open for discussion. All right. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 19, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Article 19 passes by unanimous vote. Thank you. That is our last article for tonight. I want to thank everybody again for coming out and supporting the town. And if you didn't hear anything I said tonight, please get involved with your town. Okay? There's a lot of questions that people want answered. Get involved. Look at the SuttonMA.org website and also YouTube. It's a great resource for finding out what's going on. So with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Moderator, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? All those who want to stay? Guess we're leaving. Thank you.